sides from our specialist.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to congratulate everybody on this extremely lively debate. I think you all prepared very well and definitely crystallized and explained some arguments that we hear to be main arguments in this debate on the ratification, in general, on the ratification and implementation of certain conventions. However, I would also like to point out that I agree with the third member of the affirmative side that there was little response to the arguments of each side, but unfortunately the mistake was not only done by the negative side, it was equally done by the affirmative side. So it's something, lesson to be learned for the future. It seems to me that the unnecessary and unfair burden was placed on both sides by the members of the other team. Affirmative side was arguing for the convention, expecting the negative side to prove that the convention itself is wrong, and that as a recommendation it should be adopted regardless of its implementation mechanism. At the same time, the negative side expected the convention to solve all the children's problems in all the countries of the world, and saying if it cannot be implemented perfectly, it shouldn't be implemented at all, which again I consider to be an unfair burden by both sides. What I liked about this debate is that some extremely important arguments were brought up. The question of implementation, how can it be implemented, whether the policy should be adopted, and what does the obligation mean in the legal sense? What is the obligation? How can the governments be forced to implement the laws that will go along this obligation? At the same time, important questions were raised by the negative side, saying the obligation does not necessarily imply ratification, does not necessarily imply adoption and implementation on the ground, giving specific examples of the countries where it was signed, it was ratified, it is even considered to be doing well, in the case of, I don't know, Russia, where we have a number of young people in prisons, and at the same time the basic rights in theory guaranteed by the convention are not respected. So in that sense, it was a great job, great lively debate with great cross-examinations, and I learned a lot, which is always good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now the moment for these 6 debaters that they are waiting for is these books on this table. So who will get it? Who was the best debater, and what was the criteria to decide that? We'll ask maybe upper house here. We need the microphone. The microphone will go somewhere there, and you will just say who was the best debater in your opinion and pass the microphone further. Yeah.
The best debater was N3.
Why?
She was the best in negative side. She was the loudest.
The loudest, okay.
She had good arguments, and she was the best.
Okay, thank you. Just
I think it's A3.
A3. Yes. Okay, so we see here one young guy voting for this lady, and now the girl voting for this guy. Okay, no problem. Okay, just shortly, why?
I don't know, because of
He's nice?
arguments.
Cute?
No, he's not nice. He's not my type.
Okay, so let us hear more.
I would say that N3 was the best one. Through the whole debate, she said the most thing that's important for a child and child rights.
Okay, good future mother.
I think it's N3 because she had the best comments today.
Okay.
M3.
I will also say N3 because she alone held the argument for N theme, so...
Okay.
A1. Argument.
A1. Okay.
Argumentation, presentation, everything.
Also A1 because he's the best.
Do you know him personally? Okay, just asking. No problem.
Well, I think the best debater is A3 because he used the arguments of the negative team against them.
Okay, thank you. Microphone is going down, and we will ask in the end our guests. What is your opinion, Kerry? Yeah.
I would say A3 also,
okay.
Because I think he responded to the arguments of the negative side very well.
Okay, Erna?
I would say N3.
Okay.
Ja glasam za N3 jer uvijek pomažem ekipi kojoj je teže I uopšte gdje je najteže.
Okay, and finally, your opinion.
It's a difficult decision because it was a very high-quality debate. I think all six can be very proud of their performances. I think the best arguments were on the A side, particularly from the opening and closing speeches. But my vote goes to N3, particularly because she had weaker material, but she did the most with the material, and she played a very active part in the debate throughout and was a very impressive debater.
Thank you, but it doesn't mean anything. We have our specialists who will finally decide. And maybe just to hear what is your criteria, because you were judge also in Bosnia, but also in America, about in this debate. So what is general criteria for making decision?
There are several things that we need to pay attention to when we are judging any speaker. It seems to be that the primary thing that we will obviously evaluate is the power of argumentation, is first hearing and then watching how one behaves in the debate. So I paid particular attention to the argumentation of the debater that I selected, participation throughout the debate, and then finally rhetorical skills in persuading the audience, persuading everybody present, in behaving properly also, not being overly aggressive. Is extremely important in the debate, being civilized, and in general listening to your opponents as well is one quality that we often forget in the debate. Listen as well before speaking. So based on these criteria, I selected N3 as the best debater of this debate.
Okay. And in this occasion, I would kindly ask our ambassador to give to our N3, the best debater, the small present. So we saw again the new debate, but I would just ask, because you are the first time our guest, just brief general comment. How did you see the debate? And generally, young people even talking about policy in this country.
It was a high standard of debate all round. I was very impressed by two things. Firstly, by the level of English language of the people. I mean, we mustn't forget that I was lucky because it was in my native tongue, but for all of you, you're doing it in your second language. So I was very impressed by that. And secondly, I think that you got into the arguments. As you were saying, the key issue is about how to implement something that looks good on paper, but how does it work in practice? And all of you, from your different sides, brought that out. So I too have learnt a lot from the debate. I've been impressed by your skills, and you have helped to shine the light on what is a fascinating policy question, which is not just what does the convention say, but how in real life can we maximise the opportunities to promote the rights of children in Bosnia and Herzegovina and around the world.
Kerry, is it this kind of show in front of a huge audience that is watching TV also some kind of small exercise of participating and giving voice?
Absolutely. I mean, this is exactly the kind of meaningful participation in policy debates that we would say children do have a right to. And I think the participants today demonstrated the validity of that right because they did perform so well. And I guess for me, what struck me was this was like listening to debates within the UN, within UNICEF, and within parliaments, because we're all grappling with the issues of how do we effectively implement policies that protect children's rights. So, I mean, I would echo the congratulations to the participants because I think they did really brilliantly today.
Okay.
Well, just to say congratulations to both teams, and I would just like to say that it would be so great if also the audiences, as much as all these young people here, would embrace the Convention on the Rights of the Child, because I believe that would probably change something in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Not maybe now, but in the future.
And I hope that UNICEF will also be engaged in further debates when everything connected with children, because we have students like from 14 to 18 debating on all kinds of these things.
Hopefully so.
Okay.
And not only with young people and children, but also with the adults.
Okay. And the last sentence just for you.
Čestitke obima ekipama i ja se nadam da ćemo se vidjeti na ovim istim poslama kao najbolji ambasadori za prava djece. Hvala vam.
Thank you. And would you like to debate? There is chance. Just write this email that is on the screen. Also, send us your suggestions, comments. That's all.